Welcome. It's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, well, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
He threw his mother out of the house without knowing that he was going to be the heir. Alejandro Villalobos and Maria Contreras were a happy couple who had a great relationship. Before getting married, they had a very long courtship, so they knew each other very well. However, when they got married, they would soon have a third presence in their house, who was not exactly a baby. Adelaida, Alejandro's mother, felt lonely as her only son had married. Her husband had passed away a long time ago, and she was sad. Within her loneliness, within the infinity of the walls of her house, and the eternity of time that passed incessantly. Under these circumstances, the couple agreed to welcome her and share their time with her. That way, she would have someone to chat with. They could help each other, and they could share the happiness of their son's marriage. However, this would not be the case. Adelaida was a very rigorous and meticulous woman with her habits, and she wanted everything to be done the way she considered it to be the proper way. Due to that attitude, she often bothered about things as minor as something put in a different place from where she was used to go, any drop of water that fell on the floor, cleaning. If something was moved from its place, she would even yell and complain about the disorder, often generating annoyance in the listener. Some people are obsessive about cleanliness and order. Just seeing things piled up makes you feel bad. It gives you the feeling of despair. And this phenomenon is something that not everyone knows how to understand. They can become hostile at some point. However, this does not mean that they're bad people or that they wish evil. One morning, Adelaida wakes up early as she used to and goes to the kitchen to make breakfast. In doing so, she finds that no one has saved the purchases made the night before. As a result, she begins to yell and complain about what she thinks were the bad habits and disorder of her son and daughter-in-law. It wouldn't take long for her complaints to be heard throughout the house, and Maria, who's a light sleeper, would wake up with a start. And when she realized it, she would be upset. "Mother-in-law, shut up. Stop the drama." Maria Adelaida shouts, "Let's look at things." "At your age, I didn't make such disasters. You can tell that your upbringing has been poor," Adelaida answered. Hearing such shouting, Alejandro would soon appear and ask what was happening, only to meet his mother with a position in which he justified himself and his wife, saying that her mother-in-law had disrespected her. Obviously, Alejandro could not be biased to leave for either of the two. Doing so would create anxiety and conflicts between them. So he decided to be the diplomat this time and try to divert attention with a joke. Despite the conciliatory attitude of the only man in the house, the problems persisted. Because these situations would be repeated over and over again, for any nonsense, for leaving the broom in a different place, for not hiring cleaning personnel, for little patience of Maria and by the character of both, that they would always end up yelling at each other. That way, Alejandro would hear every night in his room complaints about his mother. Complaints that would lead him to doubt whether living with her was really a good idea. One night, Adelaida's complaints were felt strongly and angered Maria confronted her, coming to an argument that would start with screaming. Then the threats to end up getting a little out of hand. Fortunately, Alejandro would intervene and avoid some kind of tragedy. However, peace was lacking at home and sadness would be present. He could no longer tolerate the misfortune of not being able to be at peace within the space that was supposed to be his home, his refuge. The best refuge in the world. The situation was untenable and had come a long way. Having thought and with a strong influence from his wife, Alejandro would make the most painful decision of his life, something that no son wanted to do and could be considered extreme. This decision was nothing more and nothing less than throwing his own mother out of his house, since according to him it was taking away the tranquility and upsetting the harmony of their marriage. "I'm so sorry, Mom, but you have to go," Alejandro commented. "You have to see that there are women who definitely destroy families. They have poisoned your head. May I spare your life?" Adelaida replied. "Mom, don't make it harder. Please go back to your house and leave us alone," Alejandro replied. Unable to believe what she was hearing, a heartbroken Adelaida goes home with her suitcases, back into loneliness, which would take her back to deep sadness. And neither her son nor her daughter-in-law would contact her again. Maria and Alejandro would continue their lives in total harmony. Now no one would oppose them or claim them for their habits and disorder. The mother-in-law had left in spite of herself. Alejandro had a small lump in his throat. Time would pass. The couple was beginning to think about their first child, and happiness was growing because of Alejandro's job promotion. They were quite comfortable and had what they wanted. They could quietly love each other without being disturbed by anyone. But despite everything, what Alejandro did not know is that his mother, who'd been expelled from her home so inclemently, had become seriously ill, and unfortunately, the doctors had given her a short and unfavorable prognosis for life. Adelaida, alone and without the favor of her son, who could assist her, would die in less than a week in a very discreet way. Weeks later, without Alejandro even having attended the funeral rites, Adelaida's lawyer would make a very important call to the firstborn. She told him that they should meet, since she had to tell him something in person. "Sir, I'm Santoro, your mom's lawyer. Do you remember me?" the lawyer asked. "Of course. Tell me what you want." "Please," Alexander replied. "It's his mother. Surely you already know that she passed away. And I, on her instructions, have contacted you," clarified the lawyer. "Please stop beating around the bush and tell me what you want," says Alejandro. "Sir, you must come to the reading of the will. You are the only universal heir." Confusion, disappointment, and sadness was what Alejandro's face reflected. What does this mean? Even though they'd made such a strong decision about her, Adelaida decided to leave everything she had to her beloved son. It was unbelievable. Apparently, she did not carry a grudge in her heart. He had taken everything from her. When reading the will of effect, the only heir turned out to be Alejandro, the only son. The one who'd been so ruthless with his mother and seemed to care little about her death. The one who had listened to his wife, showing a clear preference. Extensive areas of land and some minor assets corresponded to him. The couple could not help but feel guilty for the attitude they'd taken. Although Adelaida made people's patience fill many times, she was really a good person, and she loved her son so much that, in the end, she decided to leave everything to him, despite what happened. "Sorry, Mom, I've been a bad son. I hope now you can forgive me and you can be well wherever you are," Alejandro said, crying. "Forgive me, mother-in-law. You were being of light, and that we did not understand. I'm sorry I was so hostile to you. You really were kind-hearted," Maria said through tears. Alejandro and Maria were sorry for their attitude, so they did not feel worthy of the inheritance. Therefore, his decision was to donate the Adelaida lands to a just cause, the construction of a hospital for that small town where they were located, since its local inhabitants did not have a hospital and had to travel hundreds of kilometers for a medical emergency, a consultation, or an examination. Thus, the Adelaida Hospital would be born, which would become the new hope for many patients who could now be saved. Sometimes life can give us totally unexpected surprises. Misunderstanding and lack of empathy towards people leads us to act badly, not putting ourselves in their shoes. In short, what we stop tolerating. Then we realize that if we're falling off a cliff, perhaps that person whom we despise and show hostility is willing to shake hands despite this. Sometimes human beings can be unfair. Tell us, did you like the story? Do you think Alejandro deserves forgiveness for his attitude? Thanks for visiting us. If you liked the video, please like it and share it with your friends. Until next time. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.